You've registered yourself for your first LARP, and as the event draws closer, it is time to pack your bags and get fully hyped. But what should you bring? There are quite a lot of little things to think about, and I always manage to forget one or two specific things. And I can tell you, not having a hairbrush is not that big of a deal, but forgetting your makeup wipes for a makeup heavy character is less fun. So today I will be sharing some tips on what to bring to a LARP, and to make it even more practical, you can find a downloadable checklist version in the description and pinned comment. So without further ado, let's get packing. As with every LARP video ever, the first thing I will have to say, it really depends on the LARP event on what you will need to bring exactly. Is it a one-day event or a weekend-long adventure? Are you going camping or indoor sleeping? So I will be going over some categories and you can decide which ones are relevant for you. First of all, what are you going to be packing in? Even here there are some considerations. What's going to be your form of transportation? Can you just chuck everything in the back of a car with all the space in the world? Or are you going by public transport and do you need to be able to carry everything yourself? In that last case, having a big backpack would be the way to go. I usually am lucky enough to go by car, so I just use a small suitcase and these clear boxes that are easily stackable and stuffable. They're also really nice for home storage, but that's another story. Another thing to keep in mind with this, what's your storage like at the LARP? Do you have any valuable items that you want to lock away? In that case, bring something like a chest or a suitcase that can be locked, as most LARPs either have large sleeping rooms or outside in tents. Now, let's move on to the actual items that you'll need. Regardless of whether you are a player or an NPC, I can recommend to bring a belt and pouches. Most costumes do not come with pockets and you really do want to carry stuff on you. And if you are an NPC, bringing your own belt makes sure it will fit. Also bring an in-game water bottle. Having to walk somewhere to grab a drink will make you less likely to drink, so it's best to always have some on you. Other than that, I can recommend to bring these things, but they don't need extra explanation, I think. If you're an NPC, I can also recommend to bring these things. And if you're going as a player, the list will be longer, because costumes just consist of many items. I find it helpful to list every single item and then cross them off while I'm packing, so I'm sure I won't forget anything. For example, this is the list for my sci-fi costume. Every single piece of clothing and layer is on there. And I do want to note the notebook. LARPs will throw a lot of information at you, so being able to scribble down some information or names is very handy. It can be as simple as a plain notebook and a normal pencil, or you can bring fancy tomes and in-game suitable writing utensils. Then there is a whole bunch of out-of-game items and sleeping gear. Most of these are self-explanatory. LARPs can be noisy to sleep at or may have annoying lights in the room, so a sleep mask and earplugs can be the difference between sleeping soundly and not sleeping at all. And always bring extra pairs of socks. In the winter, especially if you're sleeping outdoors, also bring enough socks to wear at night. Which is a nice lead up to the next set of items. Think of the season when you're packing. Not just extra warm layers in winter, but think of the burning sun in summer as well. For cold events, try to cover yourself up as much as possible against wind chill. Bring gloves, a scarf and a windbreaking layer. If you don't have anything that would fit the aesthetics of the game, you can bring a rain jacket and wear it under your in-game layers. That way, it doesn't matter what fabric the top layers are made of, no wind will pass through. And for the very hot and sunny events, protect your head and don't forget to bring a hat of some kind. If your event is a camping one, you'll need to bring additional items for sleeping arrangement and possibly for cooking your own food. I won't go into too much detail on this one as it is so variable, but I do want to mention, check your game on whether the inside of tents is an in-game or out-of-game area. If the inside of the tent is considered an in-game area, I can recommend bringing some cloth or a blanket you can easily throw over your out-of-game stuff to hide it from view. And make sure you can sit comfortably. If you brought a more modern chair, the extra blanket over the chair can do wonders too. And with that, if you have managed to stuff all of this in the bag, you will be ready to go to the event. Provided you don't forget your last minute stuff, so I made a short checklist of this as well. With this list, you should have the most important things. It may seem overwhelming, especially if it's your first LARP, But remember that not everything on the list will be relevant to everyone. Cross off the items that aren't applicable to you before packing. It is better to be reminded of something and decide that you don't need it, than to realize you actually needed it during the LARP but you didn't pack it. An overview of this list can be found in the description and pinned comment for easy printing. And that concludes our packing guide for LARPs. I hope you found these tips helpful and that you have an amazing time at your first LARP adventure. And for those of you who have already been to LARPs, what are some things you realized halfway through the weekend that you had forgotten? I'd love to hear them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to subscribe to my channel for more LARP related content. And if you want more tips on packing for a smooth journey to the LARP, you can check out this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.